Everyone, welcome back to a new post today. And today let's continue with the day 24th for June 27th of your most important preliminary points for UPSC examination of 2025. And the very first issue is about your first leopard safari now in Bannerghatta in Karnataka. Now this biological park called as Bannerghatta Biological Park spans about 20 hectares of deciduous forest. It is the first leopard safari in the country and also the first in South India as well, the country's largest, I must say. So safari parks come under the definition of zoos, which are XC2 method of protection of or conservation of species or animal species. These facilities include zoos, safari parks, animal theme parks, aviaries, butterfly zoos, reptile centers, and also wildlife sanctuaries and natural reserves as well. So the very first zoo in India was the Marble Palace Zoo, which was in Kolkata, and it is in the oldest zoo, which was opened in 1854. So all the zoos, all the safaris in the country come under the regulating authority called as the Central Zoo Authority of India, which is an associate member of the World Association of Zoos and Aquariums, and it is placed at Delhi in India. The capital of India. So this is a little bit of information about your zoos or your safari parks, which is now open for leopards in India in Bannerghatta in Karnataka. And leopard, let me tell you, is a vulnerable species on the IUCN Red List, and leopard populations are currently threatened by habitat loss and also fragmentation. The Indian leopards are distributed in India, Nepal, Bhutan, parts of Pakistan, Bangladesh, has no viable leopard population. Also, it inhabits tropical rainforest, dry deciduous forest, temperate forest, and also northern coniferous forest, but does not occur in the mangrove forest of Sundarban, which is very famous for the Bengal tiger there. And the Indian leopard is protected under the Wildlife Protection Act, Schedule 1 of the Constitution. Wildlife Protection Act of Schedule 1 of the Act itself of 1972. So recently we celebrated almost like 50 years of the Wildlife Protection Act, and it is under this that we had even Project Tiger that began as well. The next most important issue is with regard to prolonged exposure of respiratory diseases with regard to coal miners, and this was a report given by National Foundation of India, an organization which files social justice, and has recently released a report that respiratory diseases and out-of-pocket expenditure are very, very high, especially in 6 districts of Chhattisgarh, Dhanbad and Jharkhand. Here it is, what we have to remember is that India has a goal of achieving 500 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2030. And the next most important issue is with regard to European Union deforestation regulatory norms. Now these restrict products that are linked to deforestation, and these are applicable to the European countries. So the European Union deforestation regulatory norms cover 7 primary commodities and a variety of products, while the main commodities are cattle, cocoa, coffee, oil palm, rubber, soya, wood. The derived commodities are several, which such as meat products, leather products, chocolate, coffee, palm nuts, palm oil derivatives, glycerol, natural rubber products, soybean flour, oil, fuel, wood products, pulp, paper, and also printed books as well. Now India has criticized the resolution as it will hit India's exports to these European countries. And the next most important issue is with regard to NATO. So NATO's 32 nations decided that the Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte will be the alliance's next chief, handing him the crucial job at a time when Russia is involved with Ukraine and US elections are looming large now. So the Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg now will retire from October 1st after major powers agreed to nomination of the Dutch Prime Ministers as the Secretary General. Now let me tell you that the Secretary General is the alliance's top international civil servant, and the person in the role chairs all the NATO's major committees. It is the principal spokesperson of NATO and also the head of the NATO's also the head of the international organization, head of the organization's international staff as well. And the next is about the ICC convicting the Mali extremist leader with Al-Qaeda links. Please look at what is the ICC. I've already spoken about it in my previous post. So ICC is an international criminal court at the Peace Palace in Hague. Now it convicts members of the state or individuals which are guilty of crimes, while the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, decides on disputes between the sovereign nations or the state. So the ICC convicted the Al-Qaeda leader of criminal crimes of humanity and war crimes, and which took place in Timbuktu in Mali. So Al Hassan is the second Malian leader now to be tried at ICC for destroying the religious sanctuaries at Timbuktu, among the other crimes. And Timbuktu is inscribed in the UNESCO's World Heritage List. So this is what about ICC and the World Heritage List, which Timbuktu is being, and it is in use because of the conviction of the Mali leader. So the conviction by the ICC. And the next most and the last most important issue for the day is about the emergency resolution in Lok Sabha that was read by the Speaker Om Birla. He passed a resolution to condemn the imposition of the emergency by our then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi and called it an assault on the Indian Constitution. The emergency was imposed by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi on June 25th, 1975 till March 21st, 1977. It was the time when the term of the Lok Sabha was extended twice, and only time when the term of the Lok Sabha was extended when curbs were imposed on fundamental rights of the people. Now Indira Gandhi lifted the emergency provision in 1977 and called for Lok Sabha elections. Now during the emergency, union government becomes all powerful and the federal structure turns into a unitary structure, which is a very, very unique feature of the Indian Constitution. This kind of transformation of the political system from a federal in the normal times to a unitary during the emergency time is a unique feature of the Indian Constitution. Now what are the grounds, are the articles under which national emergency can be imposed are Article 352, and on the grounds of war, external aggression or armed rebellion. When national emergency is imposed on the ground of war or external aggression, it is known as external emergency. On the other hand, if it is imposed on the ground of armed rebellion, it is called as internal emergency. Now, the 44th Amendment Act substituted the words armed rebellion for internal disturbance, and thus it is no longer possible to declare a national emergency on the ground of internal disturbance. So, on armed rebellion, the term internal disturbance was replaced because it was of the opinion that this particular term has been misinterpreted, leading to political victimization of the states. It is to be noted that the president can declare national emergency even before the actual occurrence of war or external aggression or armed rebellion if he is satisfied that there is an imminent danger. The provision has been provided for situations wherein the executive might be able to preempt any imminent crisis. And 352, that is national emergency in India, has been invoked thrice. First in October 1962. At the time of the Chinese aggression, this emergency was proclaimed for the very first time till January 1968. And the second time it was in 1971 due to the India-Pakistan war, which led to the creation of Bangladesh. For the third time, President declared 1975 on the ground of internal political crisis that continued till 1977 March. Post 1977, there was no emergency that was pronounced, and the 44th Amendment of the Constitution included its own safeguards with regard to the said provision of emergency. So these are some of the important points that I felt that I should share for you with regard to June 27th for your upcoming preliminary examination of 2025. If you did, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video. And I shall see you tomorrow in my another new post with another new list for June 28th. And until then, it's very happy learning.